Something wonderful is going to happen. Something wonderful has happened. Arthur Clarke is with us this morning, ladies and gentlemen, writer of over 50 books, science fiction persona, and now, of course, they've just completed the movie 2010 after his original 2001. Are you happy with the results, Mr. Clarke?
More than happy. I'm delighted.
Well, now, you conceived the original idea.
Of the story, yes. Of course, the original 2001 was Kubrick and myself. We conceived it together. But 2010, the novel is entirely mine, although, of course, I used ideas and backgrounds from 2001.
But when you see what they've taken, what you create in your mind's eye, you say, this is what it's going to look like. And then with our technological advances, and they put that on the screen, is that what you really had in mind?
Very much so, and it was an extremely moving experience to see on the screen the machines, the people, the places. Of course, the places are real. I mean, the background of 2010 is real, not fantasy. We use the imagery from the Voyager spacecraft, the first reconnaissance of the moons of Jupiter, so they're actual real places, and if you know your way around the moons of Jupiter, you'll recognize some of the locations.
How technically accurate is it? Could this conceivably happen?
Yes, as far as the technological features, it could happen. In fact, one day I think something like this will happen. But of course, the encounter with the monolith and all that, that is fiction. But nevertheless, all these things could happen, and maybe somewhere in this enormous universe, something like this really is happening.
Do you really believe there's life in outer space, Mr. Clarke?
I'm sure there is. In fact, nearly all scientists believe that there is life out in the universe, although a few now are coming to the reverse view and say, maybe we are alone because no one has ever come here. We've seen no evidence of life elsewhere, so perhaps we are alone. Either way, it's a fantastic thought.
What do you think?
Well, I feel, you know, in my heart, although of course I may be wrong, I just cannot believe that we are alone in the universe. It's an awful waste, doesn't it?
Oh, yes. Oh, I wish we could live long enough to really make contact out there.
It may happen tomorrow, of course, or it may not happen for 1,000 years.
Now, he lives in a remote little place that used to be called Ceylon, and now it's Sri Lanka. Now, how in the world could you make all the communications that is necessary to get this film done living in Sri Lanka?
Very easily, because thanks to satellite technology, I was able to communicate with Peter Hyams, the producer and the writer of the screenplay, every day just by typing on our computer keyboards, and we could exchange memoranda, and we could talk to each other in real time if we happened to be both in the office at once. You see, I'm on the other side of the clock from Los Angeles, so normally I'd be sleeping when he was awake. So I would load my memoranda into my computer during the day. Last thing at night, I would send it to his computer, which was waiting to hear from me. When he gets to the office, he would see my latest ACC 241 or whatever it was, and then during the day he would send type his reply and then send it when he left the office.
What do the people in Sri Lanka think about all this? Have you got a lot of gadgetry around?
Well, I have a 15-foot Earth satellite receiving dish on my roof, and I have, I think, the last count, 6 computers in the house, and 250 aqualung cylinders, I think, and 4 or 5 boats.
Cylinder, what is that?
Well, you know, scuba gear.
Oh, yeah.
I live in Ceylon because of my interest in diving, and I have an underwater tours business there. That's why I went there, because I was doing a book about the Indian Ocean.
The Great Barrier Reef?
I did the Great Barrier Reef first in Australia, and then I came to Ceylon the year later.
But I'm thinking when the locals come to your house and see all this paraphernalia, what do they think?
Well, the locals are pretty, you know, highly developed technically. I mean, one of our locals is the top scientist in the space biology field, Dr. Panam Paruma, who's head of the NASA Ames exobiology department, and now is professor of chemistry at University of Maryland. So the Sri Lankans get all over the place.
You know, if you look at the film very, very carefully, he's got a small part in the film. You're a wino?
Drinking occasionally from a bottle.
Well, how do you like being an actor?
Well, that was not a speaking part, but I did have a major speaking role in a Ceylon film called The Village in the Jungle, based on a novel by Leonard Wolf, who was a government agent in Sri Lanka in 1910, before he went to England and married Virginia Woolf. And in fact, I've written an article about the filming of this, making this film called Who's Afraid of Leonard Wolf? I enjoyed doing this. We had to shoot it in a weekend because it was shot in the magistrates' court, where Leonard Wolf was a magistrate in 1910, and nothing had been changed. And I sat there on the bench in my robes, and I imagined I was Leonard Wolf.
Well, keep cranking them out, will you?
I don't think I have a career in movies. I'm quite content about with this.
Do you set a writing schedule for yourself every day?
No, it's impossible because I have so many visitors and so much is going on.
So you can't say, well, I've got to work 4 hours today.
No, I just work when I can.
Well, please keep it up. I mean, you've been so prolific. It's so wonderful. And thank you for 2001 and 2010 and all of the other things you've done. Thank you. It's a wonderful picture. Really enjoyed it. Arthur C. Clarke has been our guest this morning. Please stay tuned. There's a lot more to come as 10/11 Morning continues.